Good morning. I am doing laundry while I talk about this. I left an abusive partner a few months ago now, and I didn't realize how quickly my healing would be as soon as he was out of the picture. It has been rapid. Throughout that whole relationship, he had me convinced that he was the thing I needed. I mean, he isolated all my friends and he ran this fucking smear campaign so that I didn't have a support network outside of him anymore for the most part. And he just really had me convinced that I could not be okay without him. And I did not realize how much better I would feel so quickly when I was no longer under his reign over my life, because he was truly controlling every part of my life. It feels really good. I have friends whom are roommates to me. I'm still scared of him trying to force his way back into my life and trying to do whatever. I don't know what. He is truly unpredictable, as far as, I don't know how far he would go. What I'm really saying is he would go to drastic measures to control me again and to fuck me over. So I'm scared of that, but hello? Sorry, that was a friend. I'm scared of him trying to force his way back into my life by whatever means, and if he can't force his way into my life, I'm scared of him just trying to fuck me over from a distance and hurt me badly from a distance, because he's done that before as well. But right now, I am safe, and I am not in contact with him, and I am staying, I'm gonna stay with these trusted, beloved friends for a while, because I just don't feel completely safe living by myself. I did live by myself the first time I tried to leave him, and that ended up being dangerous for me. So I'm just gonna be around people for a while and have that support network, and I'm building a really strong foundation of good people in my life and my little circle. So that's going very well. I cannot describe the level of peace that comes with being able to wake up in the morning with my son, and my son is happy, and I'm not waking up to having shit thrown at me, or having my phone thrown against a wall, or being put in a chokehold because my alarm went off when he was still too tired, or it was too loud, I should have said it quieter, or I should have made the bed better while he was eating breakfast, or it's it's wild, the behavior I would have never put up with before him, but somehow he slowly boiled me alive to where I was accepting it. And that's something I was thinking about the other night. I think I'm gonna come back inside. You just don't hit people. You don't. And I never would have let a man lay hands on me before him, but again, with the slowly boiling alive thing, I'm like, as more time goes on, realizing how terrible he was to me, because there are so many instances where he would get in my face and push me and chokehold me and scream at me and threaten to hit me by saying that he wants to, and describing exactly how he wants to hurt me and how he should and he could. But then he would back it up with it's technically not a threat, because he didn't say he was going to, he said he wanted to, which is still an intimidation factor by textbook definition, and that is just a threat. But also he just hit me sometimes, which is not okay. And I would excuse it by being like, oh, well, he only slapped me in this way, and he used something that wasn't he could have used something harder, or he could have hit me harder. he slapped me pretty light. Like, he could have full-on punched me, but he didn't, and that means he was really nice. He was just trying to make a point. First of all, you don't make a point with any level of violence. That's not something I would do to my kid. That's not something I want him to do to my kid. And that's clearly something he thinks is okay, because it's something he did to me, to make stupid points about the fact that I should have, like, woken up naturally instead of putting the alarm on because he was still tired when I had to go to work. What? I was often being woken up to violence or being yelled at or being degraded or having my shit broken because he was tired and my alarm went off because I have to go to fucking work. So, that's fun. But he hit me. He bitch slapped me. He fucking hit me. And I kept writing it off as like, oh, it's not that bad because he didn't punch me or he only hit me once or twice when he could have, like, totally beat my ass. Or, oh my god, a man hit me. Like, a man was fucking hitting me for not good reasons. Not that there's ever a good reason. And he thought it was just okay. And I would go, yeah, it's fine. Because you know what? It is my fault. I bet he has never had a violent urge ever in his life. I'm sure it's all because I just drive him so crazy. And it's all my fault. I have made him the monster. And it really wasn't that bad. And he was making a point or whatever. And he wasn't really trying to hurt me that bad. A man hurt me. A man physically attacked my body on a regular basis and destroyed my property and regularly threatened to destroy my property and regularly threatened to hurt me in worse ways, like all the time. It was almost a daily occurrence that he was threatening me or doing like this shit or pushing me against a wall or something, and it was not fun. I just justified it all the time because that's how he convinced me. I would try to talk to him about it at first, and he would just kind of deny that it even happened. Like, I'm just being dramatic and sensitive, and I'm not remembering it right. It was always different excuses. Either, like, it didn't happen that way, or he didn't mean it that way, or it wasn't that bad. It happens to everyone. I'm being a little bitch about it. Why are girls so sensitive? That's something he said a lot when I talked about my feelings and how he hurt them. Or my body and how he hurt that. He has had sex with me when I have explicitly said out loud, I don't want to do that. And he would do it anyway. And he would see me crying, and he would do it anyway. And he would act like it was... He would make comments as though it was more fun for him when I did not want it, which is really concerning in a person, especially a person who later convinces me that none of it was that bad. I'm like, no, I was getting fucking beat, and that level of violence was escalating and escalating and escalating, and it absolutely would be way worse. I had friends early on in the relationship that were trying to warn me that, like, hey, that he just slapped you and it wasn't that hard. Still not good for 2.5 months into the relationship. Not a good fucking start. That's only gonna get worse. And it did. And it would have continued forever because it was only escalating. So... yeah, if he can't handle being woken up, the fucking reactions he would have to the baby terrifies me. And that's one of the, like, the primary fear that I have. Not that I'm, living under it every second of every day, but if he were to try to force his way back into my life, he would just absolutely, he has no regard for our son's safety. And all the times that he has pretended to give a fuck about me and double pretended to give a fuck about our son, just to get to me after he tried to beg me to get an abortion or put him up for adoption. He still to the last day that I spoke with him was begging me to put him up for adoption or just hand him over to like a hospital or something. Um, and his mother's begged me to do that as well because he doesn't want me to force him into child support thing. It was a whole thing with him. A man hit me, and that was not okay. And he, on a regular basis, told me that I was sensitive and crazy, and that implied, but in a very obvious way, just not in these words, that he would not feel bad if I were to kill myself, even if it were as a result of the depression that came from him hurting me. Which I was so not okay when I was with him, just because of the way he treated me and he isolated me from everyone. I was just fucking so depressed. Oh my gosh. It's really confusing because usually when I would try to leave, he would give this non-apology of I'm so sorry, I'm gonna kill myself because of how bad I feel. I can't stand having you away from me. I just want to see you in the afterlife. I'm just gonna kill myself. I can't do anything else. Nothing else in life matters. And then I would come back to him, but he would start treating me like shit again and tell me that none of that ever happened. Every time I talk about my feelings, that never happened. I would try to reach out to friends, and he would like delete them from my phone or threaten to leave me forever. He would talk some mad shit about me. He was like faking a lot of things on social media. It was really bad. There was a time I tried to leave him before. It was when I successfully moved away, but he ended up getting back in contact with me and fucking hoovered me back. But for a while, when I wasn't talking to him because he clearly had no regard for my safety and had no care for our son, I wanted to be alone, and he like didn't take that well. He was like using my card because he had everything. Obviously, he has my fucking social security number and my bank account passwords and everything. Like he had everything. He was like using my card to order random shit to his house, and then he would go to his friends and be like, she's sending me weird shit, she's crazy, look at the fucking whatever. So that was weird. There was a fake social media account of me that I lost a lot of friends over during the period where I think there was two. I never got clarity on it. I just abandoned the whole situation and everyone involved because it was just too much of a mess with him. But like he's just so determined to in some way just squeeze his way into my life. And I don't understand why, because he clearly, I don't know. I don't understand how you can apparently love and need someone so much to where you're gonna kill yourself every time they try to leave, and you have like this fucking breakdown and go obsessive about trying to make them look crazy and terrible the second they want to stop talking to you, um, and then treat them so awfully. I don't understand what the point of that is. But he very obviously has, and his family very obviously has some mental health struggles, which I'm not saying to demonize them. That's okay if it goes managed, but it's all terribly unmanaged, and they have the most obvious, obnoxious symptoms that are terrifying. They're all very explosive and indirect and manipulative and controlling, and like I've never heard anyone apologize. I've never heard anyone respond to any situation. It's always been major explosive reaction, like call everybody you can, scream at the top of your lungs, throw shit, hit shit, try to manipulate the whole situation so that you like win. It's always about winning, and it's just so unhealthy for me. And the fact that he had over time convinced me that that was all I had, And it kind of was for a while. He was all I had because he made me lose all of my other friends. He told me to stop talking to them. He blocked numbers. He made fake social medias where I was just acting fucking weird. Um, no, I don't blame anybody for not wanting to be involved with that. But, like, it was just him, and he had me convinced that I wasn't gonna be able to, like, get a good job or go to college or anything without him because I didn't have the car yet, and I didn't have this and that, and I was, like, I wasn't exactly set up for success from my childhood. I didn't have parents who did that. Um, but there are ways to build that up, which I have just made major improvements in the past several weeks. Like, I'm completely fine right now. But yeah, he had me convinced that I cannot and will not ever be able to build that life for myself unless it is through him, because he's already lucky. And if I leave him, I'm just gonna be fucked and I'm gonna be a mess and I'm not gonna be able to fix any of it. I'm not gonna be okay. I'm just gonna, like, die under a bridge somewhere. And his mother spoke like that too. Um, so I stayed because that would be a terrible reality, right? Stayed for entirely too long on that. But he had me whipped. Like, I believed him. Like, if I leave, where am I gonna go? What am I gonna do? So when he would say all of that and he would control my life to where I couldn't do anything separate from him, I couldn't do anything without him, and then he would out of nowhere go completely cold and cruel and tell me he wouldn't actually care if I died, and there's this cute girl in class that I regret that every day that I can't go talk to her because he's with B, which is a good feeling. Regrets that he can't go fuck her because he was absolutely talking to her and sexting. Um, I believe he was physically cheating on me, but I don't have evidence of that, so whatever. I really don't fucking care at this point. The point I was getting to was when he would say shit like that about how he doesn't care if I die, and he doesn't really want anything to do with me, and I am the most obnoxious thing in his life because I cry sometimes. Yeah, I would have, like, breakdowns because he would suddenly go cruel for no reason and trigger everything that he knows triggers me, as far as, like, being alone and having love taken from me without explanation. And then he would stop answering my calls for the night. So I would have, like, breakdowns like I've never had breakdowns in my life. I would, like, wail and sob and, like, feel scared and depressed because this person's, like, owns my life. He really owns and controls my entire life, and he's made himself the center of my world by force and by coercion, I guess. And suddenly he just doesn't care. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, what I did wrong? Why am I so broken? I want to fix it. I want to fix it. I want to fix it. I'm, like, texting him, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm, like, caps lock, sending a fucking dozens of messages and calling 100 times. Not literally 100 times, but quite a lot of times, and sending these paragraphs about how I'm so sorry and how terrible I feel, and trying to say what he wants to hear, but then saying how I actually feel. It's all just broken, and I'm just like, saying that I wanted to die because I mean, you've convinced me that you're my life, and then you toy with me like this sometimes. Of course, I'm gonna freak the absolute fuck out, but yeah, I just can't believe it. Anyone was able to make me break like that. Like, I felt like a child every time because I was just, like, I didn't know what to do. It was just this uncontrollable wailing of, like, this person's supposed to love me and they're hurting me and I'm trying to apologize and I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong and they're just, like, ignoring me, and now I don't know what I have because now all night I'm gonna feel like I have nothing, and then in a day or two he's gonna show up like nothing even happened and he's gonna say sorry, I feel that way, and reprimand me for being emotional, and then we'll have sex and everything will be fine again. I can't believe I've had so many, like, depressed, suicidal. I don't want to say suicidal, but really bad. Really, like, what's the point of living? I believe I've told him I've definitely told him when I was with him that I felt so bad about how I was being treated that, like, I didn't say it in these words, but the way he had made my life, had forced my life to be, was making me miserable, and I was trying so hard to, like, cooperate. I was trying to use enough patience and understanding for both of us. I was trying to be so understanding of him and so forgiving and just patient and just waiting for him to treat me the same way or treat me with just any consideration, because I wanted to believe that when he was love bombing me, like, that was the version that he really wanted to be, right? But he's just scared because I want to be in, like, this adult relationship and raise his kid and go move into this apartment and do this and that, and he, lives with parents and he wants to go to school. He's only a child, he's never really had to do anything like that, so he's just scared, and he never learned how to deal with his emotions as a kid. So it makes sense that he's like that, and maybe if I just show him patience and patience and patience and forgive him because that's what Jesus would do, then maybe it'll sink in eventually and I will stop being abused. Maybe I'll stop crying every single day and I'll stop having the person who's supposed to love me be so mean to me and physically hurt me and make me scared for my life all the time and threaten to, like, dox me to people who have been very dangerous in my life in the past that I spent a lot of time trying to, like, fucking hide from. Totally normal things to say to your girlfriend, totally normal things to do. But no. Yeah, that's either true and he's doing a really bad job at growing up, or it was never true and that was just another way to manipulate me. I don't really care which one it is. I won't be going back to find out. The fact that I've been separate from that is very refreshing. That I don't have to make sure I can turn my phone off. I turn my phone off and I have to make sure it's on, like, full volume in case he calls or texts. Yeah, gosh, he ignores my calls a lot, but there was, like, one single night where I went to bed instead of answering him. The fucking meltdown I woke up to. Oh my gosh. About how I'm just a terrible person, I'm not attentive, and, like, I was just scared. Like, what if you were dead? I had talked to him 25 minutes prior. It was like 9 at night. But it wasn't good. Was not good at all in any way. It hurt me very badly. And I showed so much understanding and love and mercy and forgiveness and so much authentic love to someone who only had intentions of hurting me. And it's kind of more fucked up that whether it was what he really wanted or he was faking it, but he knows how to be a good man. He knows the idea, like the route he could take to get there. He knows how to act like it and do the fake apology, and he says that he wants it, that he in theory knows how to do it, would verbalize how to do it, kind of, but not actually show any understanding of it, and then choose to not do it anyway. If you clearly have the ability and the desire, but you just don't. And I'm supposed to wait 7 years to see if he fixes it. That's not good. That's not okay. I'm never gonna hang around anyone again that makes me lose my friends in order for them to be okay with my life, or I'm not giving my social security and bank account information to somebody. I'm not gonna let someone hit me even lightly and they say shit about needing to remove my child from my life in order for us to have a good relationship. No, thank you. Um, I was so miserable and depressed and anxious all the time, um, about him and things that he would do in my life every single day. It made me feel so terrible, and there were times where I just didn't even like want to do it anymore. I've never been the type of person to melt down and call somebody a billion times and text them a billion times, um, just because I need them so badly to undo the pain that they have caused me. And especially somebody who I know is actively choosing to play FIFA anyway while I break down. And like, I don't know how you can. I don't understand why why any human, and I've independently studied a lot of psychology and I try to be really understanding. Specifically, I've looked into like narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, and just like emotional stuff. Like, I've looked into why people do what they do, and I just can't put myself in the mindset of a person who tries to control someone so much, by hitting them where they need love and then purposefully taking that away and knowing that they're in agonizing pain because of their own actions, like, to know that the other person is suffering terribly and saying that they want to die directly because of something that I'm doing to them, and for me to know that and hear them literally be on their knees begging me to just like give them a hug, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go play fucking PlayStation. That's buck wild to me. Like, what? How can anyone just be okay with that, with somebody that they're so determined to keep in their life? Why would you try so hard to force your way into someone's life just so you can treat them like that? I don't understand. But that is not the mindset of a healthy or a safe person, and I am just really grateful that I'm not a part of that anymore. And I'm grateful that I don't feel this huge attachment. Like, there's nothing else in my life. There's nothing at all that has made me like break down and freak out like that and want to die just because of the way someone's treating me. The love bombing to the silent treatment thing it's not love bombing to silence, it's love bombing to being really cruel and then radio silence, and it drove me like fucking insane. Like, I just felt insane. Not literally, but it was the most like highly emotional and broken down that I ever felt in my life. And I just because that's like all my life was. He made himself all that my life was about. And then he ruined it over and over again. And it's like grueling fucking pain. I was treated terribly all throughout childhood, and I was just like clinging for dear life to this thread of hope that like I just have to be patient, and then one day I won't be forced to be in an environment where I'm treated this way anymore. And then I got out of that, and I had to fucking fight for it. And then they go right back to that, which psychologically kind of makes sense. I've been able to make some sort of peace with that I'm not just stupid to where, along with representing the era in my life that was like normal and happy that I fought for. Like, he represents everything that I fought for. He had everything that I didn't have. He grew up with fucking stability and got to go to like the public school sports games and Europe vacations or Europe tour vacations. It was great. He also, with the way he treated me, represented like the parental figures in my life that made me feel like I have to earn love, but never gave me that love. But the difference here was that sometimes I felt like I was earning it. There was a reward in the form of like sex or affection. So that's why I couldn't leave for a while before I had to unpack that. I think I was too eager um, when I was younger to be like, oh, all I have to do is remove myself from the situation that I've been raised in, and it won't hurt me, like it won't affect me or hurt me anymore. As long as I acknowledge the things that went wrong and I remove myself from them, they'll have zero effect on me. No, there's this thing called post-traumatic stress disorder, and I think I had quite an attachment issue when it came to the way he made me feel awful. So, yeah. Every day, realizing more. Not every day. I gratefully don't think about him very much in the days anymore. I'm focused on how great my life is going and how much progress I'm making. And even on my stressful days, I'm stressed because, like, I have a lot of chores to do. I don't know if I'm gonna get them done in time. I tried to call this office, but they're closed on this day and all over the weekend, so I have to wait now, or I have to do this and that. Like, it's just normal stuff. The other night, I was complaining to my roommate about the fact that between the cats and the baby, every time we eat, I just have to fucking sweep again. Like, it's just so tedious. I have to do it so many times in a day, and I feel like I'm just always fucking stepping in rice. At least 4 times a day I have to do this, and it just gets everywhere, and I think I swept it all, but no, there's more rice, and I have to sweep again. Like, that's what I was worried about. That was the most stressful thing of my night. It was like, there's food on the floor because my child was able to eat a full meal in a safe house. And that was my problem. And it's so refreshing to be like, that's the thing that stresses me out. I need more winter clothes because I have to do laundry too often. That's it. That's what I'm stressed about. And there is still this fear that's there of this guy forcing his way back into my life or finding out where I am, trying to fuck me over in some way. I fear for myself. I really fear for my son's safety, well-being, but I'm doing everything to keep us safe. And objectively, we are safe right now. And as far as what's presently happening in my day-to-day life, sorry, I got like a full screen notification. We are safe right now. And as far as what is presently happening, like externally in our day-to-day life, there's nothing that bad, and I don't have breakdowns anymore, and I don't feel depressed. I don't feel anxious. There have been some nights recently since I've been in a safe place for a long time where I was like, whoops, now that all my needs are taken care of, I have time to process how terrible and traumatizing that relationship was. Here's the next hour of being super sad as I like unlock the full reality of certain memories. So it's sad, but it's good, it's healthy that I'm processing it. It's good that I am so far removed from it emotionally and physically, and that I'm like in a safe enough place to be able to do that. And I have therapy next week, so that's good. New therapist, or new psychologist, I don't know words. That relationship hurt me so terribly in so many ways, and I'm gonna continue to process the fact that he sexually assaulted me and physically attacked me and physically abused me and harassed me when I tried to break up with him through many different systems. He feigned my identity and he stole my cards and completely whatever, just deteriorated my reliability to everybody else without me even knowing about it, to what would have previously been my support network, just to anyone that he knew I knew. just shot me down so much and made it so much of a problem in their lives that they just, whether or not they believed him, didn't want to fucking deal with my shit anymore, because that meant dealing with his shit. And I don't blame them. It will not be happening again, because now I am safe, and I'll be doing a lot of therapy and a lot of healing and a lot of spending time with my son. He's doing great. He just had his doctor appointment and he had some shots, which he did not appreciate. But he handled it as well as a baby can. And we had a good day. After that, yesterday, we went to the appointment and I got drinks with my friend and roommate, and we got sushi, and we went on a cleaning spree all night, and we listened to music. We just do flips and shit around the house now, which is fun. I haven't done that since I was a little kid. I'm getting into, I don't want to call it gymnastics, but she taught me yoga because she's a yoga instructor. We both do aerial shit, so she got a pole. We're gonna do that. Like, fucking things are awesome. Like, that's just normal. It's normal and happy, and I'm getting my life together, and every time I realize how terrible that was, yeah, it's just, I'll be fine living my life, healing, super happy, and then I'll, like, get to a certain level of healing, and my brain's just like, hey, do you remember this thing that he did? That was actually 10 times worse than you thought it was. Here's all the feelings. I'm like, all right, cool, that's the next hour of my life. But I'm grateful to be separated from that. So, still scared, but mostly doing okay. I'm good. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. That has not been the case for a while, since pretty much the moment he walked into my life. And my son is doing well. He will continue to do well, because I am not going to allow anybody abusive into his life, or into my life ever again, because my son is my top priority. So, there's that. I'm gonna finish this laundry. Have a wonderful day. It just feels so good. It feels so good to be so freed from that, to where I could call it what it was. I can call the abuse. I can recognize it now for what it was, because I am not in a place any longer where I'm making excuses for it. I knew what it was, but I was always like, oh, no, it's not that bad, or like I'm being sensitive, or whatever. Like, I would have to force myself into that and like talk myself out of doing anything about it, because I loved him and he was convincing me that I was just like being dramatic, or it wasn't that bad, he didn't mean it that way. Like, it was always not that bad, and it was that bad, because I don't have to do that to myself anymore. I don't have to like let him gaslight me so much to the point where I'm gaslighting myself and being like, I mean, it's just like, it's maybe like kind of toxic, but it's like not a big deal. Like, he's not that mean. He didn't mean it. He doesn't learn how to his emotions, and I have to be patient. I mean, he was abusive. I can say that. I'm free from it. That feels great, to be in a safe place to heal. And I'll probably be processing that whole relationship for a while, because it was traumatizing. But that's okay, because I'm doing it in a healthy and safe way, in a healthy and safe place, with good people. And things are gonna be better. I really believe that it saved my life when I was able to leave that relationship. What happened to me, not my son, to me, if I continue to stay in that relationship, where I think a couple things. One was I would just continue to be treated that way for the rest of my life, and I would continue to be isolated for the rest of my life, and just cry every day and be miserable and depressed and anxious, and let him convince me that it's just because I'm crazy and sensitive, feeling the worst I've ever felt in my life, and that will continue.
Second option is I might feel that way for so long until I harm myself because of how terrible it feels. That was a possibility. I was very depressed as a result of being fucking abused that terribly. It would not surprise me if that was the route that would have went to, because I was in like a completely different mindset while I was being treated like absolute shit. The third option, which is I think just as likely, he would have killed me. The rate at which his physical violence was escalating and his complete lack of regard for my safety in terms of giving my information away to people who absolutely should not have it, as well as abandoning me and our son in dangerous places, sending us to far the fuck away places under completely false pretenses just to abandon us there to our own devices. Bad. One of the last terrible things he did was, after getting us stuck far the fuck away, I made my way to some midpoint, which was really a lot closer to him, with the understanding that he was going to come pick us up, me and my son. And I got there, and he canceled all the plans, and he was being really terrible and making a lot of threats. And I said, "You're scaring me." And he said, "Keep being scared. Find your own solution. I'm not getting you." That was the last time I ever spoke to him. So with our son, he would have treated me the exact same way. He treated him the exact same way he treats me. And when I say exact same, I mean worse, because I can control my emotions, my emotional reactions to a degree. With him, I was a lot more, being abused once again, and there were more tears. But babies cry all the time, and any emotions, any sudden noises, like, I don't know, my alarm going off, all very triggering to him. Any level of stress he is not equipped to deal with. So yeah, he would have shaken that baby for sure. In the newborn state, he would have absolutely thrown him, smothered him, pushed him, something, and said it's okay because he won't remember it. I fucking guarantee you that would have been the case. But as he gets older, he would treat him exactly the same, which is similar to how I was treated as a child, and that wasn't fucking good. So I don't want that for my son. Also, the physical violence. He has the ability to kill that kid very easily, and I completely, sincerely think that he would, with the emotions that come with raising a child. It gets, really stressful, and to somebody, I'm not saying it's stressful all the time, but to somebody who's really not equipped to deal with even the most basic of their own emotions and only reacts with explosive behavior, I fully believe that he would, I know he would use physical punishment and violence. He said that he would use physical punishment. He would absolutely use reactive violence as well, in terms of in situations where punishment wasn't even necessary. I don't even believe in punishment. I just believe in natural and related consequences. Especially not physical violence, though. Not okay. No physical punishments. He just would have done it so much to where he killed him. He would have so much more ability to kill him than he would me. He's already put the both of us in, again, really life-threatening scenarios, and abandon us in bad ways is just bad all around, and he is a very legitimate threat to both of our lives and safeties and just our well-being in general, and it's not good. And I'm very grateful that I was able to escape that for my sake and for my son's sake, because I will never be allowing him to go through what I was forced through. Feels good to be able to recognize it and verbalize it out loud as abuse. It also feels good to know that I'm in a place where I never have to worry about that happening again. I mean, I'm gonna be vigilant about it for sure to make sure it doesn't happen again. I'm not just like chilling. I'm gonna make sure we're safe. All right. I'm gonna go do my day. Bye.